Hi there, it's John from Commercial Real Estate Online. Welcome to the program. This is the podcast show where I like to share tips, tools and ideas in commercial real estate for my friends in real estate all around the world. So welcome to the program and make sure you subscribe whilst you're here. The website to contact us is commercial-realestate-training.com, and you will get plenty of ideas at that website to help with sales, leasing and property management activity. And so for today's program is all about choosing the best methods of sale for your commercial property that you can list and work with. There are some ideas here, some recommendations that will help you position the property specifically and more directly to get more inquiry and better results with your property listings. So grab a coffee, grab your notebook, come back and listen to the program and enjoy the ideas. I'll see you at the other end of the program. So let's look at some techniques for selling commercial property today, to getting a result for you as the agent and of course for you as the client's representative. I've updated this article particularly for commercial real estate teams to really think about when it comes to what they're doing with their clients, their property listings, so they're getting better results in a changing market. And indeed, the property market is changing, so be part of the change. Be willing to engage with people as they struggle with the change. The commercial property market is an attractive asset class because people can lock into it and keep that property for a long period of time and gain the advantages of income from that asset. So you work with that, of course. So selling commercial property today requires strategy, market awareness, and a tailored sales approach. You can shift your tailoring of your sales approach whenever you want to, based on the market trends, what's going on out there. With market conditions fluctuating and buyer expectations evolving, it's vital to choose the right method of sale for each property class, each location, each precinct. As a commercial real estate agent, your ability to guide the vendor through this choice can directly impact the success and the timing of the transaction. Now, you are the specialist in commercial real estate, so you need to handle that concept, that approach. Not all properties or clients are the same, of course, and not all sales methods suit every situation or property. The correct method of sale will create buyer urgency, generate momentum, and support negotiation leverage for the vendor. So choosing the wrong method may lead to limited inquiry, stagnate your campaigns, that's not good, and delayed outcomes. So you don't want to waste your time in commercial real estate. You want to be on track with the right methods of sale. So let's have a look at that, and let's have a look at the strategies around that. So there is a golden window of time. The first 6 weeks always matter the most when it comes to any campaign selling any property. Those first 4 to 6 weeks in any marketing campaign are absolutely critical for the results that you seek. That's when the property generates the most attention, and that's when you can get the inspections underway, the inquiries converting to offers. If inquiry doesn't build during this momentum, the listing can and certainly will go very stale. That is why a front-loaded, high-impact marketing campaign is absolutely essential. Advise your vendor to invest upfront in marketing, of course, usually 0.5 to 1% of the expected sale price, and that is in targeted advertising, quality photos, and digital media. Now, of course, the price of the property will shift that particular percentage. I get that. But what you're looking for is vendor-paid marketing funds that will allow you to create more trends and opportunities in the marketing campaign, more inquiries, of course. If the vendor will not spend the money, then the fact of the matter is that they're not genuine in getting a result. And certainly don't play the game if the vendor says to you, oh, look, you get plenty of commission, so you can pay for the advertising yourself. That doesn't work. Now let's explore the key methods of sale with agent tips and examples that you can work with. Now, number 1, sale with a set asking price. You've probably seen this lots and lots of times. Often preferred by vendors because they think they have some sort of control. The method provides price clarity and helps filter buyer interest, sure. However, it can also create price resistance if not properly managed or indeed tuned to the property market correctly. The real prices in the market, not what the client thinks they want, but what the market is doing, and that is a challenge in itself. So the sale with a set asking price is best for standard investment properties in predictable markets. Also properties with lots of recent comparable sales. Indeed, that gives you proof of what's going on out there. So the agent tips for this: conduct a comparative market analysis, a CMA, to support your pricing recommendation. Use price anchoring psychology. Suggest a price range to open negotiation pathways. Include price by negotiation as a flexible option if the market is soft or the property is different. So a word of caution. Overpriced listings can and usually do stall after 4 to 6 weeks. Ensure the vendor understands market feedback quickly and is open to repositioning the price if inquiries are low. And certainly don't waste your time if the owner of the property is unrealistic or is failing to listen to the real market conditions. Let's go to pricing and method of sale number 2, and that is the auction sale. It's used in many locations around the world. Auctions are great. Auctions create urgency, competition and transparency. They're ideal for high-demand assets or those with broad buyer appeal. Now, you've got to make that judgment, of course. They are the best methods of sale for prime retail, industrial or office assets in top good locations. Also properties with multiple buyer types, e.g. investors, owner-occupiers, business owners, that sort of thing. Now, some tips for the agents on this method of sale. Recommend a comprehensive vendor-funded marketing package, approximately 1% of the expected sale price. Also, pre-qualify buyers and encourage early interest through pre-auction offers. And lastly, use a 3 to 5 week auction campaign with consistent open inspections and follow-up. Now, most commercial properties should be a campaign of that sort of 5-week period because it allows you to tap into the right people and indeed the target audience. Be very clear about what that target audience is, where you see it and how you're going to tap into it. That's the method of using an auction campaign successfully as an agent in your location. A word of caution. Avoid auctioning niche or hard-to-price properties. If there is limited interest, the auction could fail to draw in strong bids, and you don't want that, of course. Let's look at the method of sale number 3. This is called the sale by tender. It also is a very good method of sale because it is timed. This method of sale is time-bound, just like an auction, but conducted privately. It's an excellent method of sale for premium or complex assets or different assets where confidentiality is required. Now, certainly it is best for institutional grade properties, assets with strategic value or redevelopment potential, and situations where vendor requirements for strict confidentiality or control are evident. So the agent tips with this method of sale: clearly define the terms, the contract conditions and assessment criteria in the tender documents. Have them prepared by the client's legal people so the documents are ready to go once the tender starts. Maintain control by rejecting non-compliant bids. You don't want bids from people who are simply testing the owner. The bids under tender situations must be compliant, and that's why you're providing the document to the interested parties under a tender situation. And the last point to think about here is allow 4 to 6 weeks for marketing and tender submission, followed by a 1 to 2 week review phase so the vendor can really understand the tenders they've been given and the differences between them. A word of caution: tenders need a skilled agent to guide both the vendor and the buyer. Prepare for post-tender negotiations because they do happen. Let's look at item number 4, the methods of sale. Item number 4. This is the expressions of interest. EOIs, or expressions of interest, are flexible and suit unusual properties or broad non-local buyer pools. Buyers submit offers by a closing date without knowing competing terms and conditions or competing buyers. So there's a cut-off date, and that's what gets people active to participate in the EOI. Now, think about it. This method of sale is best for special use properties or assets with redevelopment potential. Also properties that could attract offshore or institutional buyers, and listings without comparable sales or defined value. Now, some agent tips around this. Qualify buyer motivations early. Many EOIs generate conditional or creative offers that can be good or bad. You've got to be careful. So qualify buyer motivations. The next point to think about: use buyer feedback to inform post-campaign negotiations. And lastly, again, run a 4 to 6 week campaign and keep communication tight to maintain interest. A word of caution: the expressions of interest, the EOIs, can produce wide-ranging offers, very different offers. Prepare the vendor to assess different contract terms, settlement timelines, and price points. They will indeed have to select from your recommendations and the EOIs that are submitted on the cut-off date the best offers that work for them. Let's go to the last point here on the methods of sale. Number 5, off-market sales, no set price. In this discrete method of sale, and you see it quite often, the property is offered to selected prospects without a public campaign or advertised price. This suits confidential, relationship-based deals. That's why your database is so important in commercial real estate. If you know the sellers and the buyers, you can do some off-market transactions. It's that simple. Now, this method of sale is best for high-profile or tenanted assets. Also, motivated but private sellers who don't like to be known in the market. And lastly, deals driven by timing, introductions, or known demand. So some agent tips to think about here. Leverage your internal buyer database and active investor clients. That's where your database is so important today and in this changing market. Then use the price discovery method. Gauge buyer feedback to find value indicators. And lastly, drive urgency by limiting access to only pre-qualified buyers. A word of caution: without broad exposure, you rely heavily on your network and selling skills, particularly your database. Strong relationships and follow-up, of course, are the keys to getting a result in this particular method of sale. So, of course, think about these different methods that I've mentioned to you. And here are some final thoughts and an agent checklist, if you like, to put in place when it comes to the best methods of sale for the properties that you're working with today. Each method of sale has its place in the commercial property toolkit that you use. As a professional, your role is to assess the property type, the market conditions, the buyer profile, and the vendor priorities to select the right path. And in that, of course, remember who your client is and what their priorities are, their instructions, their authorities for you to act. Here is a quick sales strategy checklist for you to think about, for you yourself, for you and your team. Firstly, assess property type, location, tenant profile, and value. Then understand vendor goals, that is the pricing, the time of property sale, the confidentiality and the certainty. Then look at identifying the likely buyer types and their motivations, that is indeed the target market. Then recommend the best method of sale with supporting rationale. You are making recommendations. Then create a high-impact marketing campaign tailored specifically to this method. Also, manage inquiry promptly and adjust strategy if needed. And lastly, provide consistent vendor feedback throughout the campaign. So that checklist is so valuable for you to think about. 7 particular things. Go back over that part of the recording and understand it for what it is. So the summary for you today: your knowledge, your recommendations, and your negotiation skills will shape every sale outcome, every sale listing. Of course, in this market, you need to know plenty of people. So that should be at the center of your business day. That is your database, your conversations that you create. When you align the right method of sale with the right property and the vendor strategy, the results will follow. What does that mean? Faster deals, better prices, and more repeat business. You are indeed, in that situation, in control. I'd like to encourage you today to know the methods of sale completely and thoroughly. Understand when and why each method of sale works best for you, the location, and the property type. And then educate clients with confidence and complete clarity. And lastly, always follow up and stay in control of the process. That is the way to do things. Enjoy the results, enjoy the momentum. And so that is the program for today. Some ideas there to help you with the best methods of sale for selling commercial real estate today. Some very good points to think about when it comes to positioning the property, yourself and the client, to get the better results more specifically in this changing market. Now understand this, the market is changing. We get that. It always changes. What we do as individuals, as professionals, is that we change with the market. We make sure we are tuning ourselves to the players of the market today. And that's what you should do at any time, in any market, with any property type. So in closing, don't forget to visit the website, which is commercial-real-estate-training.com, and you'll get plenty of tips, tools and ideas to help you with your real estate business today in your zone, precinct and property type. This is John from Commercial Real Estate Online, signing off for now. I'll catch you again very soon. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. Catch you soon.